Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. This is episode 156 continuous weeks of bringing you content to help you be a better RVer, whether you're no time still researching, part time taking cool trips of days, weeks, or months, or even a full time traveler like myself, just ending my fifth year, fifth year of full-time travel in my camper van, a Winnebago Travato 59GL. Thank you so much for putting me in your, I don't know, your pocket, your bedroom, your RV, your living room, wherever you happen to be. It's just a delight to have you here on the live stream tonight. I'm coming at you from a crazy place, and I'm praying that our Starlink holds up. We are uploading at about 4 megabits per second, which is just on the edge of not possible. So let's hope this works tonight. And I see a lot of friendly folks in here. This is great. Great to have you with me. And I'm working off of a single laptop, no extra screens. So this is a very unusual setup for me. So again, I'm sure this will go well. This is our topic tonight, journey to van life. And really it's about your journey to van life. I'm very interested in how your journey of van life started. And we're going to even explain what is van life from my perspective. And I'm really excited to um, learn your story a little bit and tell you a little bit about mine because let me zoom in here for you. This was our oh goodness, this is how soon gonna go. I love this. Let me back this screen over here. I did a survey today, and this is what y'all, well, quite a few of you anyway, had to say about um, what started your interest in van life, which in my opinion is really traveling in a camper van. Nothing more difficult or silly than that. Happy to see and not surprised perhaps, but the number one, nearly half of the votes were what started you interest in van life, travel in your camper van, frustrated with status quo life, wanted to travel small and live big. No pun intended there. And the other thing that is, oh, this is how this is going to roll. Bear with me one second. Oh, yeah, that's much better. And then the second biggest why was wanted to travel in a slower, more intimate way versus air and hotel. So we're going to cover that in spades tonight, and I'm really excited to give my perspective on that again as a full timer for many years in my same van. I keep making it more cool. um, I am really happy to say also that we are just completing our third year, Scott, this way, full time. I'm doing What's Up Wednesday. So 156 episodes, divide that by 52, and you'll see that we are just rounding the corner around 3 years of this weekly RV show, starting our fourth year. I'll get it right yet. Fourth year. And because of that, and because we have a sponsor, we'll be talking about them here in a couple minutes. I'm really happy to say we are up on our game on YouTube Live. This is what I've invested in. It's about $1,500 for all this new audio equipment and what have you. And it's kind of a celebration of just starting the year differently around What's Up Wednesday. I actually thought very carefully about just ending this because it's really a big project. In many ways, actually more of a project than shooting a video, recording one, and editing and just uploading it, and forgetting about it. Because I don't want to just be a talking head. I want to give you some real content that really matters. Bring in guests, bring in owners. This ain't about me. It's about us working together to be better camper van travelers. So I'm up in the game with new equipment next week. I'm hoping to do that live from the Tampa RV Super Show. As always, without a guess, you can ask me anything about van life. And if you need some, I don't know, icebreakers, there's pretty much I haven't done, haven't seen, wished I hadn't done. I don't know, including crashes and running out of water and dumping takes of Wi-Fi and all kinds of things. So anything's on the table tonight. And you're talking to a guy that kind of knows a lot. So this is your big opportunity to ask a question and get the real scoop. And by the way, if I haven't done it or haven't experienced it through somebody else, tell me about it. I'm going to tell you, I've never done that before. We're going to talk about fifth wheels tonight. I've never been in a fifth wheel, but I'm going to give you some personal experience. But that's how we roll here. And we're going to say hello, howdy to many of our regulars here toward the bottom of the hour. I want to get through our main content first. And that is the way we like to roll here. Of course, we have Libation Live tonight. This is kind of cool. Texas bourbon. You're going to learn more about that tonight. So the purpose here is enjoying tastes from the road, whether it's food, beverage, otherwise. And I share with you what I've discovered, and maybe you can go find it for yourself. It's pretty cool. To me, travel is all about discovery. This day in history, there's been some pretty cool things that happened. I think I'll get a little kick out of that. And our song of the week comes from Loverboy. If you're an old cat like me, back in the early '80s, they were pretty popular, actually. So I got a song from them tonight that's just a toe tapper. And of course, your questions are always very welcome. If it could help you out by using the format 3 stars, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 question marks, 1, 2, 3, 3 stars, 3 question marks. That helps me find um, your question more readily and answer it more quickly. Just a couple announcements. I'm going to zoom in here for you. Oh yeah, let us know where you're watching from. This is an international sensation, and if you don't see your country's flag on the map, please give a big shout out. Even if you're on vacation and are taking time in the middle of the night or middle of the day, middle of the morning, whatever, hey, you watched the What's Up Wednesday, so that counts. And it's just a scene so in so many places across the world. It's pretty cool, live and on the replay. Okay, so events, we want to talk about these. You can go to my website, right there's the link, and get the information. GoSmallLiveLarge.com/events. We got 2 biggies happening next week. Can you believe it's next week? This is the Florida RV Super Show in Tampa. We're doing a roundup, which is what I call our meet and greet, on January 17th. That's a Wednesday at 11 a.m. at the Lazy Days Winnebago Travado booth. I think it's booth 400. So you'll want to look at the map and track us down. So if you're there on Wednesday morning, come see me, say hello. Let's shake some shake some hands. I have not been drinking, I promise. I've been running up the stairs. And then, as important, maybe even more so, is we are going to be at the Sunshine State RV booth on the very next day, Thursday, the 18th of January, 11 a.m. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on there, and I'm just really pleased to. We're going to making some big announcement next week, and we want you to be part of all of that. So that's going to be great. And then, of course, we have our first big sponsored, or really our anything Vanbury, happening next month in February. February 5 to 7. Just go to, again, GoSmallLiveLarge.com/events. Get the information there. You click off if you're a camper. Assuming they still have sites available, the 12 that we've reserved are sold out. But as long as there are sites available in the campground in Ocala, Florida, then you are welcome to camp the night. We're really pushing the day gas. So if you're curious about vans, van travels, which brands, which floor plans, which toilet works best for you, you're going to be surrounded by experts that are owners, YouTubers, RV dealers, well, one dealer in particular, that'd be Sunshine State RVs. And this is your real chance as maybe a non-van owner to come and learn about the van travel lifestyle from real people, not people, you know what I mean. It'd be like to have you there. And let's see what else we got. Again, we're going to talk about, I'm going to ask you to kind of put in what's a couple of things that really got you going or interested in van life. But first, we wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, and this is Embassy RV, Sunshine State RVs. Yes, this segment of What's Up Wednesday is sponsored by Sunshine State RVs. Just these are the greatest folks, and they are. Let me zoom in here for you. They are located in Gainesville, Florida, and just a huge shout out to Nick and the whole team. They're just the greatest folks. We've been working with them off and on, recording videos for many years, and they are just great. If you're looking to buy a van, I highly recommend them. If you're looking for service on your van, I highly recommend them. They've done a number of repairs on my van over the years just because they're really awesome and really close to home base. And they carry all kinds of great brands of RVs. So if you kind of scan this chart, you will see that these are some of the better brands of Class B RVs. And by the way, you probably know this, they only sell Class B RVs. They don't do the big guys, they don't do the small guys, they don't do towables. They only focus on vans, so they're kind of experts on vans. And they're the number one B van dealer in the state of Florida, the number 3, I get it right, number 3 in the United States, and the biggest selling Coachman B van dealer in the country. So they sort of know what they're doing from start to finish. A couple more things you probably need to know, if you don't already, is they are starting a mod showroom. They've been doing this for a while, but in the big circle there, you probably recognize my van and all of the Rover van gear that's been placed on my van. I cannot tell you what a game changer it's been for me. And they are now an official retailer of Rover van gear and, more importantly, perhaps and installer of Rover Van gear. So again, if you're going to the Sunshine or the Florida Super Show next week, we can talk about that. The owner of Rover Vans, the maker of this gear, is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Sunshine's going to be there. Coachin's going to be there. It's a pretty big deal. So make a trek to Tampa on next Thursday. Fair enough. Service is really, it's a day of purchase. Oh yeah, you're supposed to know that. They give you a really thorough walkthrough, and I'm not kidding about that. Other dealers, many times limit you to 1 hour, and these guys don't do that. It's take as much time as you need. Then they put you up in the campground too, like I don't know, 12 minutes up the road for 2 nights, so you can really work on your RV. Then if there's any issues, questions, you can deal with them the very next day. And I think this is a pretty big deal here. Service within 5 days. You may know that. Try that with a dealer. And the other thing is pretty cool is you get free tech support by phone for the life of ownership by you from of that van. It's pretty awesome. And I think the other thing that's really neat here is their service department. I think many of you have bought from them and you know how awesome they are. If you look at the survey we did a few weeks back, service after the sale is people's number one concern. I'm pretty sure you're not going to have that problem with Sunshine State RVs. Fair enough. A couple more things. Bonus, if you saw this last week, I am going to put in a little skin in the game myself, and you can flash this QR code. It takes you to a site. You can have a free Zoom with me, scheduled before or after your purchase at Sunshine State RVs, and then SSRV will contact me with your info to schedule your Zoom. We want to help you make the best decision possible. This is what the little form looks like. You just press on your phone or whatever, contact me. You fill it out. That goes off to Sunshine State RVs, and then they contact me and we schedule your Zoom. So big thanks to Sunshine State RVs for sponsoring this segment of What's Up Wednesday, episode 156. Let me know if you've done any business with Sunshine State RVs. That would be super great to know. All right, let's talk about and get into Journey to Van Life. This is pretty cool. And again, if you can kind of put a couple things that got you started or what really drives your interest in van life, I think that'd be super helpful. We'll get to those questions here in just a moment. Let me get through, excuse me, our big content for the night for those of you that tuned in for the thumbnail. Okay, ready? So I think the first thing we need to ask is, what in the heck is van life? It's a very social media hypercentric term. Let me zoom in here for you because I think you're going to get a chuckle out of some of this. So I typed in van life into the Google, and guess what I got? Yeah, the usual suspects, which is usually very attractive female, usually with not much clothing on, probably a dog, and the gratuitous view out the back door. And then she's sitting there very is, right? You don't tell me you haven't seen this before. But oftentimes this is what van life looks like. We spend a lot of time in parking lots as we're going to and from our destination. And that's true if you're a full-time traveler or just taking trips. You end up some places you don't want to be because it's on the way. What's nice about the van is you can kind of do this from any place. And if we look at what van life means from a terminology standpoint, our friends at Wikipedia says van life is an unconventional lifestyle of living in a car, van, or other motor vehicle. And blah, blah, blah. You kind of get the point here. And what I stopped doing, I don't know, about 2 years ago maybe, is stop saying I live in a van. Nobody actually wants to live in a van, very few. But travel in a van, now that's cool, that's sexy. That's what we're actually doing. We're actually traveling in the van, and you live outside the van. You go to the van, you make a meal, you go to bed, you use the toilet, the shower, what have you. But you're actually doing things way outside the van, and that's van life. So just want to kind of clarify that because a lot of folks kind of get wrapped around the axles on that. And I just want to clarify that. So van life to me is, zoom in here for you, traveling in a self-contained, whatever that means to you. It could be literally a mattress and a bucket. Self-contained means whatever it is to you, right? Traveling in a self-contained camper van that allows maximum freedom, and I would add maximum discovery. To me, all these years, that's what it means to me: freedom and discovery. That's what van life is to me. Traveling in a camper van. What do you know? Let me know if you agree with that or not. Okay. So again, so these are the order in which I'm going to address these topics tonight. This again is the survey we did, and we're talking about downsizing, RV versus air, car, hotel, remote work, income. easier travel via van, and then frustrated status quo. And again, it's kind of interesting. That was the one that everybody came up with. So we'll do that one last here in just a couple minutes. But before, let's see, what do we want to do here, Scott? Oh, yeah, this one. So let's talk about downsizing an RV. Okay, now this will give many of you a chuckle. And if you've been traveling in your van at all, you know that this is how a lot of people roll. This is a ginormous fifth wheel and a ginormous truck to haul around that huge house. And answer for me if this is true or not. The bigger the rig, the fewer the people, and the smaller the dogs. And on the towable segment in particular, the smaller the towable, the more people they got crammed in there, and the bigger the dogs. Have you noticed that? I think every campground I've ever been at, that's been my experience. Is that um, these huge rigs is just only one or two, maybe three people. It's just the most amazing thing, and they take quite a while to set up. So I think for a lot of folks, again, the number one reason for being expressing interest in van life is just downsizing the RV, fuel economy, ease of getting around, way less setup and tear down time, and they maybe have determined they don't need all that stuff, especially if you're not full time traveling, right? You don't need to have the Halloween decorations, the Christmas decorations, all the other stuff. The house on wheels, yeah. So this is for a lot of people why they start looking at van life, van travel. Next reason, RV versus air, car, hotel. Now I can speak from personal experience on this. Back in my old corporate days, I'm so glad they are gone because this is what it used to look like. And oh my gosh, I've flown quite a few times last year, 2023, and I can tell you this has not changed. Before, during, after COVID, it is still a headache. Please raise your hand unless you're flying first class or maybe business class. Is travel all it's cut out to be from a wow, this is a lot of fun? Yeah, airports, the actual airplane, they're actually kind of scary now because of people doing stupid things, or stupid things happening to the airplane, like a window popping out of it while you're in flight. And then renting a car, I don't care what kind of weather you're in, it's just not fun. And what I've discovered is that by traveling in a camper van, it's slower, it's more intimate. I can do things where I want to go. And oftentimes, if you kind of take in all the consideration of time to pack, drive to the airport, go through the airport, go through security, all the headaches, you're burning up many, many hours plus flight time. And then you get to the other end, you got to get your rental car, you got to get checked in. So depending on where you're going and what you're doing, you got a 5, 6, 8 hour ordeal. You might be able to drive the whole thing in, I don't know, 10 hours at your leisure and be much more comfy. So I think for a lot of folks that have traveled this kind of way, RV versus air, car, hotel, they're looking like this is actually kind of better, in some ways less expensive. Pretty amazing. All right, we're ready for the next one. Remote work and maybe making some income on the road. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So I'm going to show you some of my goals here in a few minutes. We'll take a pause in just a minute, answer some questions. I see a super chat, Matt. Thank you, sir. So whether you're working in the van, like I'm demonstrating here, or I'm working at a cool place, there's probably a day I don't work. But you know what? I get to. This was in Helper, Utah. This amazing pizzeria, super tiny, family owned. Met the owners. They make beer there too. It's just the greatest thing, right? On a Tuesday, I don't know, afternoon, working, right? You can work from the van, but the better thing for me is to work outside the van or even in a place like this that I'm in tonight. I'll explain this in a minute. So, van life for many is remote work anywhere you happen to be. And I think that's COVID really made this a big deal. And I think it is still continuing, although people have been kind of forced back into the office. So glad not to have a job anymore like that. I work 7 days a week, pretty much, but I get to do it wherever I want on my own terms, my own time, and that's pretty cool. So why travel in a van? Home office a couple days a week, go into the office a couple days a week, maybe make a 4 or 5 day trip out of it. Pretty cool. Is this resonating with anybody? I am so excited. So next is easier travel via a van. So we talked about this a few minutes ago, and I want to show this image to you because I see this a lot too. Whether it's a campground, RV park, they're dragging the towable. Got to have a pretty good sized truck, and you kind of have to go through the whole setup, tear down program. Now the nice thing is you can unhook your towing vehicle, then you have a car to run around in. But what I think a lot of us van travelers do is we don't plug in, put it over your sewer hose, your water hose. You just kind of roll in, you put it in park, and you're at camp. I found that to be the best way, and particularly if you have a big lithium energy system in your van, like a Volta or Lithionic, something like that, you are going to be truly experiencing freedom on a level you've never experienced before. Certainly, unlike these folks, because they still don't have that freedom of the lithium in particular, and leveling and all this stuff that I watch folks go through. And I think it's just easier to travel via van. Wherever you are in a parking lot, in a magic place up on the rim of a canyon, you put it in a park, and baby, you're at camp. Power up your lithium, and you got shore power anywhere. It's pretty awesome. All right, let's talk about frustrated with and status quo. This is going to be a big few minutes, so let me just say hi to some folks. And I see some questions coming here, and then we'll get to that last segment. Stay tuned. We got Libation Live in a few minutes. So, again, if you can help me out, this is the format you want to use, which is 3 stars, 3 question marks. Hopefully, not too far in your face. Clearly, I'm not in my van. You're going to hear about that in a second. So help us out there. So we got Roads of Life. Yeah, thumbs up if you are here tonight and breathing. That's awesome, right? That would be great to know. And here's Eric. He's got a question. Hello from Plant City, Florida. How it started. I want to visit all the aircraft, car, train, lighthouse, covered bridges, museums I could find in the U.S. And sir, you're doing a bang out job. He's one of our Patreon True Believers Zoom a few days ago, and he's telling us where he's going, and he's asking for places not to miss. I think Dayton, Ohio had a huge one, right? Eric, correct me if I'm wrong on that. This isn't really too high for me. I don't know. This is we don't roll through this very often with very strange setups. Frank and Sharon, you guys are awesome. Glad to be here. Let's see, Jane and Roger in the house. Byron, Illinois, 26 degrees. Burr. Here's New York Ron in the house. Here's Bill and Joe. These guys are great. Bill and Joe, yes or no? You had a great experience with Sunshine State RVs buying your Coachman and Beyond? We've talked about this. I know you had a great time. I love it when you all talk amongst yourselves. And here's Denim, got a very big question. Denim, don't you just love winter? No, actually not. That's why we're not where we would be in the winter in Chicago normally, thanks to van life. Just say it. We got Frisco Tea in the house. Tim Miller's in the house. Gumbo in the house. This is great. There's J&G. Mason Mike in the house. Mason Mike is a great guy. To see if we had a couple questions here. Steve's in the house. Got a lot of regulars. This is great. Ryan Burr. You know, Ryan, there's just something about you, sir, that I will never forget. It was my very first Florida Super Show in Tampa. It was in January 2019. You had a question that was about black tanks, sewer emptying of black tanks, something like that. I can't remember. But I called you out specifically, either from the top of my van or when I was doing the tank duty. And for that, for some reason, you will always be in my brain. And you've been hanging around here, sir, for a long time. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Roads of Life always has a good question. What was your greatest fear before deciding to get into RV life? A very good question. That's always, I would say, biggest fear was, would I run out of money? Although I had a part-time job, well, full-time, then we went part-time. Would I be able to make enough money to quit my job? That was a big goal. Would I not like it? And internet was probably my biggest concern initially. We very much solved that in most cases, but just all of it. And there was a few folks I followed in a van, like we're the Russos. Who else was in the van back then? Amber was one, and Robin was one. Creativity. Well, was she ever in an RV or a van? I think kind of a Unity thing, right? Leisure travel van. But anyway, so could I actually do everything I wanted to do? Comfortably, have fun, and make some money down the road. That was my biggest fear. So I'm happy to say it all worked out just fine. Great question. And let's see. Beer. No, Aaron, he always asks me out. We're doing bourbon tonight, sir. Texas bourbon. Let's see. Goofball said, I did 730 days sleeping, living, eating, showering, exploring my 59G. Like Scott, I'm in my 5th year. Now what? Maybe back to work. No, you got to find out a different way, sir. There's lots of ways. Texarkana, that's an interesting town. Texarkana. Just kind of up the roads from El Dorado, Arkansas, or down the road, whichever way you're going. El Dorado, Arkansas. Now that's a fun town. Um, so, Gumbo wants to know, are the national flags for places people are from or where they're currently located? I'd say currently located, watching the program. What's Up Wednesday? Um, that's how we roll. With maybe, well, yeah, we'll leave it at that. If anybody knows Texas flag is on there as a national thing, ask me the question. I'll be happy to share. Let's see, Sparks guy. Let's see, good question here. Wants to know, have you come across any ProMaster-based van owners towing either storage, motorcycle, travel trailers? Recently, I saw a Sprinter-based overlander going south on 95 with a storage trailer. The answer is yes. I've seen some ProMasters that are pretty loaded up on top and in the back, e-bikes on the back and a bunch of stuff up on top, kayaks and what have you. I even know one feisty gal that has a Travado 59 GL, just like me, and she drags a smart car behind it. Not kidding. She drags a smart car behind it. Now it's kind of like a big roller skate, but nonetheless, she's dragging a car behind that. And I think the towing capacity of a ProMaster is 3,500 pounds maybe. But they're kind of underpowered, in my opinion, for if that thing's fully loaded with all your stuff and your water and your bourbon and your everything, right? And then you put a car on behind it. Oof, you're gonna be going up mountains really slow, really slow. Good question. All right, let's go back to the program here to our established content because this is a big one, as apparently by our. Man, this is really kind of frustrating right there. Please hold. This is normally have three screens going, and right now I have one, so it's really juggling the windows. Okay, here we go. Ready? Let's try it again. There we go. Lord have mercy. Okay, status quo. This one I can talk pretty extensively about, and we have over the years, but I thought we'd bring it up again because it is a new year, and people just kind of get in this mindset. It's only January 10. You got 355 days to make this year count more than the last one. And looking for a distraction from the political environment and other stuff going on, this is a great way to drill your goals in deep and hard and get it going. Ready? So again, this was a survey. Number one answer, frustrated status quo life, want to travel small, live big. Here you go. So this is our big old house. I don't remember the square feet. Pick a number. 3,000, 4,000. We did a complete gut rehab job on this. This is a house in Forest Park, Illinois, which is just one of the collar villages outside of Chicago. We were directly 10 miles from downtown Chicago Loop. Again, this was a beautiful house. Let me show you how beautiful it was. You might be saying, why in the hell did you leave this? This was our kitchen. The gas range is standing behind you. To your right is where the back door was to an amazing backyard. Kyle did all this. He designed all of it. It's pretty spectacular. This was the living room. And let me tell you, it didn't look anything like this. We cut the windows in by the fireplace, added the fireplace, added the coffered ceiling. It was a spectacular place to entertain. You can see the big old porch there through the big plate glass window. It was pretty spectacular. This was the master bath. And behind you was a double sink vanity, ginormous mirror. And that was probably my favorite shower ever, still to this day, including Lily. That's my van shower. It was just, it was so big and so lovely. We actually added a house plant to it, and it thrived because of all the light. And it was just so much fun to shower with a plant. When's the last time you did that? Now, I oftentimes shower in campgrounds, whatever, with frogs and mosquitoes and all those things. I'll take a plant any day over those things. The point about the house is what made me frustrated was the mortgage payment alone on this house was about $3,200 per month. My entire van life travel budget, all in, is about $3,000 a month. To the mortgage payment, you can add, well, I think insurance was included. I can't remember. Utilities, landscaping, all the seasonal stuff, all the work that it took to keep all this stuff up. You know, you work all week, you kind of reserve the weekends for doing stuff like that, maybe a party here and there, which we threw quite a few parties. But you know what? It was a grind. It really wasn't bringing much. And even at the end of this massive 1 year, couple $100,000 gut rehab, we moved in, we loved it, we enjoyed it. But we're like, you know what? We don't care about the house. There's other things to do. There's other ways to experience life. Now, if you're like me, I had a corporate job, corporate commute. from, Forest Park out to Downers Grove. Not a fun commute. And you go to an over air conditioned cubicle. Let me know if this is ringing a bell. You go to meetings to talk about meetings, and then you have meetings about the meeting, and then you do meetings after the meeting to figure out what is the next meeting. Is this ringing a bell with anybody? So while I liked the people I worked with, I liked what we did, it just wasn't satisfying for me, and I was looking for something more. And I think by making some bold decisions and by making some bold projections, and most importantly, getting myself in gear, and I'll throw Kyle in for that matter. He's my partner 20, almost 4 years now. What we decided to do, and this is the key phrase, let me know if that corporate stuff's giving you guys the jitters. I'm sure it is. If you actually type in to the dictionary the word decide, verb, come to resolution in the mind as a result of consideration, That sounds kind of, I don't know, highbrow to me. But if you look at the one below that, the origin of the word decide in Latin is to literally cut off. So when you decide, you should be cutting off from the past and looking forward to the future. I heard that from Tony Robbins once. Remember that guy? Is he still around? And I tell you, that still resonates with me today, because what we did is, me in particular, but we decided to change our lives. And not, fortunately, I was starting to, I didn't know much about it at that time. And these people had such a impact on me, an impact on me. This is Joe and Kate Russo's. Did know him from Adam. Did meet him in person in July of 2018 when I had ordered the van but not yet taken delivery. I was so nervous, and now I'm just thrilled to say that they're my friends. They're kind of cruising around like I am, and because I knew there was something possible, you could travel in a van, you could ditch corporate America, you could generate a little bit of an income, you could teach others and share with others this style of travel in a camper van. And that was super exciting to me. So we made what Kyle calls the fantasy plan. Are you ready for this? I don't think I've ever shown this publicly before. It's an old photograph taken in April 15, 2018. One of the walls in my office at that house you just saw was painted with whiteboard paint. And so I was kind of planning the next few years out around van travel and a YouTube channel, this go small, live large thing. There's a few things to point out here. First of all, this is April 2018. I ordered the van in June of 18. We took delivery in October of 18. So what I did is I took a whiteboard. I'm very methodical in this kind of stuff. And then I wrote across the columns time points over the next 2 years. I think it goes from 18 to 20. So a couple years by quarter and what should be happening. So we decided in October, it's kind of written there. We didn't really know when, but we kind of figured it was going to be third quarter of 2018. So we took delivery of the van on October 2018. The big middle oval there, the real horizontal one, I set a goal and said, I'm going full-time travel in February of 2019. And then because this was not a hobby, to me, this was going to be a business. I replaced my corporate income because I was frustrated with life. Big overhead, big corporate job to pay the big overhead, wanted it all behind me. And we did, really. It was a team effort. So I calculated how much I could make from my Go Small, Live Large channel, all in on Patreon and partners. And I had wild aspirations and crazy dreams. But I was realistic. I knew I wasn't going to make 200 grand on YouTube. And I actually am happy to say that we have way overachieved everything we experienced, which is pretty amazing. I just love sharing that because, in fact, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a bunch of other YouTube channels I was expecting to spin up and didn't. Because what we want to do is focus on go small, live large. How are we going to achieve these goals? We don't need any distractions. How much money am I going to need to make? How much money am I going to be able to, if I quit my job, my corporate job, and just ran off channel business, how much did I need to live? My deal back then was, I think it was $65 a day. Oh, the things we didn't know. I don't even know what it is now. My total overhead is about $3 grand, maybe $4 grand if I'm buying a bunch of booze or going to some crazy things. But I am just really happy to say that we've replaced all of the my income. which is great. And many of you are part of that success, and I'm just really, really happy about that. All right, you want to say hi, Kyle? Oh, Kyle wants to say hello. No, he doesn't. He's going to take his fruit and go. Where are you going, sir? There he is. Remember this picture on the whiteboard wall? This is Kyle. He's got an RV. We got some content coming up. You'll see from him. But
I told him to do it in the casino, so we watched the gambling going on, but he didn't want to do it.
it's too much distraction. I don't think they can hear it anyway. But so again, what happened um, in October of 18? We took delivery of the van. If you've taken delivery of your van, you know how that day changes your life. It's probably like when you have your first kid born, and I suppose all the ones thereafter. But your first one is extra special because it's all like OMG, right? And we took delivery, and I'm telling you, it changed my life. And I knew from the beginning, key, that I wanted to work my corporate job full time from the road. But I had to convince my president, my CEO. So what I did, I took a big old long trip. Didn't tell them I was leaving. Didn't tell them I was working from the van. I told them I was working from home. And when I got back, I said, "Surprise! Guess what?" They're like, "What? We didn't know you were even in an RV." I'm like, "Perfect. Thank you, Zoom." And that's what kicked everything off. And then we got the blessing to work full time from the road. And here's my van when she was silver. What? Without all the cool gear on it? What? And this is Lily. And I actually stayed the night in the parking lot several times. Clearly, this is during winter. See the big old snowbank there. And that's the building behind. And by getting buy-in from stakeholders that probably don't believe you're going to do this, probably not think you're going to have fun, probably are rooting for you, but sure you're going to crash and burn. But when you're transparent, when I was transparent with it, and everybody knew what I was doing and why, everybody was really excited. I actually talked my CEO out of buying a van. He's like, "This is too small." Never did buy an RV, although they did move to Florida. Um, so pretty crazy. Now you think about all that. Well, so what have we accomplished? And I talk about we, and that is the collective we. This is not about me. I'm kind of sage on the stage, the benevolent dictator. It is my channel. It is my business. But without you, this would be nothing. Nothing. Let me prove this to you. Ready for this? This was about a year ago. This was in Lukenbach, Texas. This is one of so many we did last year, and we're going to be doing 12 Vanbury campouts per month this year. And to me, this is what it's about. We travel together, we come together, we have van fellowship together, we have lots of fun, we create memories. This is what I am super juiced about. Making videos are important. And we're going to be talking about, with some of that gear you saw earlier, doing a lot more lives because I can do them better, faster, easier, more creatively, I think, this year, but we'll find out. But us coming together is really what is exciting for me. But wait, there's more. A bit of an eye chart, but this is Go Small, Live Large. Our mission is to promote Class B ownership and camper van travel. This is what we've accomplished together. Many of you in this audience have been guest hosts for me. You've allowed me to tour, record van tours, which is very invasive to your privacy. It's like, let me get a tour of your house and put it on YouTube. You know, it takes a strong person to say, yes, I want to do this because I too believe in Class B ownership and camper van travel. How can I help other people? So we've put up some pretty amazing numbers over the last years of this channel's inception. We are approaching 1 million hours of my content consumed, helping people understand van ownership and travel. To me, that is truly amazing. And it takes a team. It takes you, it takes me, and it takes partners because the YouTube income is not great, contrary to popular opinion. Very few make the big bucks. Embassy RV, my very first partner, followed by Volta, and then Rover Vans and Sunshine State RVs, and we spun up a Patreon channel. So again, my goals of trying to produce enough income that I continue to do this, not getting rich, not living off savings, not adding a lot, but I'm having the time of my life, 5 years, starting year number 6, and we're starting year number 4 with this program. And it's because of all of us working together, we get to have these benefits for all of us. So pretty crazy, right? So that's how my van journey, why it started, how it started, and how it came to fruition to this point in time. And I know many of you, like Frisco T, I'm going to get a bunch of names, Roads of Life, all have YouTube channels, not necessarily to make money. That was my job, is to quit my job. So mine was very intentional. Yours might be for different reasons. So we just want to share these things so that you can understand. And I'll go back to this. Let me go back to this because this is, I think, what it really takes is this. And if this is your year, hey, if you want to live vicariously through me and others, I'm totally on board for you. But if you've been kicking the tires on van life, waiting for that special whatever, waiting for prices to go down to $50,000, which you can buy a van for about 80, that's kind of modern, it'll be used. What are you waiting for? Right? This is the deal. Decide. This is your year. You got 355 days yet to go. I would love to see you in the Tampa Super Show. Well, maybe we'll have a big Vanbury someplace. Well, we're going to announce a special one in a few weeks. It's going to be in December. We got a really special. Anyway, if this is your year, you got to decide. And I think you need to do something like this is really chart it out. What is your date to decide? I know I'm preaching to the choir. I apologize, but I'm really serious as a heart attack about this. When are you going to decide on the floor plan, decide on the price, line up the money, take delivery, and get in your van? Because unless you do that, every time I look at the calendar, Sunday is not on the calendar. All right, that's enough preaching. Let's ask some questions. You ready? Man, I need a drink after all that. Holy cow. Okay, hang tight. Let's give a thumb up if you're getting anything out of that. That would be awesome. We sure do love thumbs up around here. And if you really did enjoy that, hit the thumb up button twice. Just saying. Okay, let's see. Where are we at here? Chats. That's where we're going. So Sparks. Again, this is the question format. This just helps everybody out. And here we go. Do that like this. Okay, 3 question marks, 3 stars, or 3 stars, 3 question marks. Okay, let's take a peek here. Thank you, Kathy. Isn't that a song? Yeah, I'm expecting Gumbo's talking about Cloudy By from Sunshine State RVs, which is a class act. Uh, Prototypes, yeah, they oftentimes roll out the new prototypes in January at the Florida RV Super Show in Tampa, and then they come really kind of on the market later that year. The Road Trek Pivot is a perfect example that was introduced as a prototype last year, and they just really started shipping in the last couple 3 months. So sometimes that happens, but if it's the one that hits all your marks for floor plan, features, whatever, then maybe it's worth the wait. But if you're just waiting for the perfect van, let me tell you, it's not there probably, and there's just compromises, right? Um, oops, this is great. David says, partner, I rent a camper van. Great way to get your toes wet, see if you like it. Before you spend 150 grand, you can spend 1,500 and try it out, right? And fell in love with van camping. Started research vans and found our van. LOL. Started a spear at the moment at an RV show. That is so great. Let's see. Gary's got a question here. What was your first introduction to van life that caused you to consider this lifestyle? YouTube, somebody know. Frustration was the first place. Really unhappy. Just need a flat out change. Changing job in the same industry, you get the same stuff, right? I just wanted a vastly different lifestyle. Number one, have some fun, educate, make a little bit of money, get folks to buy in on my dream, which people did, and then start researching. The Revel video that's now sold, Kyle Kesterson was part of it. The what's her name's recorded it, and it's a really hard video to find out because there's so many Revel videos. But that was the first video that really got me excited. Like, a van, you can do all that in a van. And then discovering the Russo's videos, they were traveling full time in their Heimer Class B RV. And after that, I'm like, because I wasn't interested in any other type of RV. I wanted a van specifically, nimble, fully, full featured motorhome, tiny, cool. That's our first RV. Didn't know anybody doing it except what I saw on the YouTube. So good question, Gary. But really, what the impetus was, looking for something different and building a plan around it. Kyle, what'd you call it? The fantasy plan.
Yeah.
The fantasy plan is what we called it. And guess what? Fantasies do come true. It's pretty awesome. Let's see. Let's see. We got Sakara's in the house. SM, I was there when this is a very small channel. Scott is all about steady growth and having a good time. In his early videos, talked about upbringing and overcoming some of those obstacles. Yeah, if you're kind of new to the channel, within the last, I don't know, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. If you want to go to YouTube and zoom all the way down and see some of my first videos, Kyle was in there. We kind of start talking about it. I was putting YouTube content out before we had a van. That's how excited I was. I knew nothing about what I was doing, but I just had passion. Let's see, Roads of Life. The free Zoom with you sounds great, but I already have a van. I wonder if there would be a way to Zoom with you, like a Patreon. Um, it's so amazing. Yeah, you can. We have a Patreon channel. We have 3 levels, $0. Whoa, big. Wow, that was weird. Big cramp there. 3 levels. Let's try that again. 3 levels. Ouch. 3 levels. $0, $10 a month, and then $20 a month. $20 a month. We do 1 or 2 Zooms a month. We just finished one. And it's just really a great group to get together. I got some other ideas around that. We're going to be doing some stuff like that with this live gear setup. So stay tuned. That was weird. That's you're getting old when your hands cramp up live on YouTube Live. Matt, I'm sorry it took so long. Matt, I don't have my jingle jar because I just jumped. So jingle, jingle, jingle. Matt says, jingle, jingle for having a van appointed with more than a mattress and a bucket. I could agree more. Thank you for your tip. I appreciate that. Goes right into the Libation Live Fund that we are going to be using here in just a few weeks at the Vanbury. But let me tell you something. While that is, we like to chuckle about that. That is no way I would ever be doing van travel. I met quite a few folks at the Adventure Van Expo in Chattanooga in October last year, and there's one young man. I'm going to guess his late 20s. Had a dog. He had an electrician's van, literally still painted on the outside like an electrician van, converted to his camper van. He literally had a bucket, a mattress, kind of this jackery thing that creates some electricity, a solar panel up on top, and he was happy as a clam. $3,000. Not the way I want to travel. Couldn't stand up in his van, but he was happy as a clam. I should have recorded him. I learned some good lessons from that thing. So again, pick your priorities, pick your budget, and just get started. Come listening next to like I just like flying. My daughter flew to see me Thanksgiving. Fly was short. Yeah, yeah. Especially if we added on all the delays, right? Oh my God, you could probably drive almost as fast. Here's Steve saying, "Van life boils down to me for freedom, minimalism, nature, culture, forest culture. 5, chatting with people from all over the country when I want to." Yeah, it's well said, sir. And he's a great guy. Good to see you this evening, Steve. And it just changes for me. I can just hear Steve sharing his experience. This thing has changed my life in so many ways. I can't even get started. Nature, until you have your first storm, not like a severe tornado, but just heavy, good, rain, wind, storm in your van. You're like, what? Because in your house, who cares? But when your van's rocking and it's all excited, you can smell it, you can hear it, and it's pounding on you. It's pretty cool. Minimalism, man, it's one of the best lessons I learned. I have some cool stuff, but it's the only thing I own. Everything in my van is the only things I own, which is pretty amazing. Culture, I can't tell you how nice it is to roll through this country and just experience culture from our so many states with so many people, and generally 99 out of 100 people are just cool. It's the bad guys and gals that always end up on the news, and everybody thinks that's what's happening across the United States. And I'm telling you, it ain't. And if you travel, you know what I'm talking about. Freedom, I'm telling you, Steve, it's like being, I don't know, pick a number, a 21-year-old with all the resources of an adult. It truly is a miraculous thing. Steve, thank you for sharing. Uh, let's see what else we got for you here. Oh my God, it's 51 after. Okay, let me share where I'm coming at you from. This is pretty crazy. We're so far into the program. I'm just happy to have you guys sharing back and forth. That's what this is all about. Here's Nifty Traveler. She says, recently bought a Class C, let go all the items that that would be required to go to a Class B. I may give myself a year or two continuing to downsize and then go into a smaller rig. Nifty, I think you'll be really happy on the gas mileage, and there's a lot of things a lot of folks carry, including me, still to this day, that I really don't need. I actually have empty space in my cabinets now, which is pretty cool. It allows me to haul around bingo games because we're going to start playing badass bingo at our Van Bree. So congratulations, and continue watching. Please subscribe so you don't miss any content um, on the van tour channel. So Daniel's got a question here. What about the transmission? Any fix for the flex plate? Have no clue what you're talking about. Never had a problem with my transmission. Here's Mike. Thank you, Mike, for helping me out here. You're going to see some of the efforts of our collaboration here shortly. Okay, let me share with you. Where am I coming at you from? Normally, it's a whole new year for What's Up Wednesday. So we're going to be changing up some things. I may just drop this stuff all together. Let me know if this is helpful to you at all. So I'm coming at you from a cruise ship. You may have figured that out. Let me just kind of zoom in here for you. Oops, I take this off. Thanks, Mike, for that. So Kyle's pretty good at doing the blackjack thing in the casino. So we get lots of invitations. We get free upgrades. So I'm in the Florida area, so I decided to join him. Pretty cool. That's the big boat. That's where we were at today. Just pushed off of Haiti, which is not Hawaii, Haiti, just a few hours ago. Pretty warm down here. It's pretty nice. Summertime always. This is a shot of the boat from the looking from the back to the front down the main street. Pretty cool. If you look at that thing in the middle, that's actually a fitting bar. It goes up and down, and you might guess where we stopped upon boarding the ship. That would be getting some cocktails in us, which is pretty awesome. And speaking of van life, I can remote work. This is me work on the program today from the cruise boat. What the heck's that thing behind me? Those are two robots that make drinks. I'm not kidding. You put your card in there, you dial in what you want, and it literally makes you a cocktail. I think we're going to make a video about this, right, Kyle? And wait till you see this thing in action. It's absolutely stunning. Robot. Most bartenders kind of grump at you these days. Like the good ones think, hey, they're not here just to drink; they're here to be entertained or educated, whatever, right? These guys don't care; they just keep making drinks. It's pretty funny. Let me show you a few flashes of some of the. This was yesterday. We were in Jamaica. We're bored. Look at the size of that boat next to the two-story buildings. The beaches today, pretty awesome. This is the Royal Caribbean-owned portion of Haiti. One of the things they have around here is a lot of art. So I just got a huge chuckle out of these art in the men's room, right? For and I think what happened, right? There's grandma taking a look at you. Gentlemen know what I'm talking about, right? So funny. Um, Here's gasoline in Falmouth, Falmouth, however you say it, Jamaica. It's $2, $2 ish for a quart, a liter. So do the math on that. Real estate's pretty expensive. This is for a few acres in this area of Haiti. Holy cow! Probably nothing else around, and that's what we've been doing the last few days, working like a dog on some of the content here for the channel. So that's pretty cool. Just having a ball. But you know what? Only through van life are we able to do this. Otherwise, I'd be asking for vacation days. Oh, you've already used too many? Working from the road. Pick your method of travel. Van life, I'm not trading. I'm looking at Kyle. I'm not trading cruise life for van life, but I'm telling you, without van life, I wouldn't be able to do this. Pretty awesome. Kyle runs the Airbnb business. Okay, let's do what's next. I think we'll keep saying hello to folks. Let's talk about Libation Live. We always like to be timely here on the small and large. Let's not go over too much. A lot of you. Here we go. Libation Live. This was actually poured. Well, the earlier one. I since poured into a bigger glass, I guess. This was actually poured by the robot. It was so cool. Let me know if you experience a robot pouring yourself a drink. It's so awesome. And there's kind of a gal taking care of things and cleaning them, so they kind of still love it when you give a tip, which is pretty cool. But we did not tip the robot. So what's cool is I discovered on the boat that this is balcony. Is this how you say it? Balcony distilling. And the one on the right, far right, is the one that is on the boat. And what I found on the boats is they have the usual suspects, but then they have one or two that are different. One of the bars here I actually discovered has yellow star, yellow rose. I think it is. So hard to find. I gotta go find that maybe tonight if the show's over. Okay, let me just show you this. Balcony Distilling is where you can find it. Made in Texas. So awesome. Austin, I think it was. Here's the flavor profile, $39 a bottle. And for me, that's what this is all about, is just discovering on the road. So jingle, jingle. It's just it has a little bit of Scotch peat taste to it. Excuse me, that was a big one. It's really it's got a lot of layers of flavor. It's really good. I don't think there's been a bad bottle of Texas bourbon I've had. I think Texas is kind of coming up in the bourbon scene. Well, oh, let me show you this. This is kind of cool. So on their website, they had some FAQs. So this is pot still. This is not in a column still, which is where most of it comes because it's in major size batches. But take a screenshot with your phone or whatever, because what is a pot still? What the difference between bourbon and whiskey? Every bourbon is whiskey, but not every whiskey is bourbon, and that's the way we roll there. All right, are we having fun yet? Let's see what else we got down here. Let me see. There's a few more questions, and we'll do our this day in history and the song of the week. Have you guessed which Loverboy song I chose? Um, so, Kathmandu, good to see you, sir. On your ProMaster, do you leave the transmission in tow haul mode since it's loaded or not? Cheers. So, what he's talking about, there's a setting on the transmission. When I'm going up a big hill or going down a big hill, I put it in tow haul mode. What I think it does, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is it just kind of holds that gear longer. It doesn't allow it to up or downshift. And it makes a huge difference when you're going up a hill in particular. I'd say going downhill as well. But I don't leave it in tow haul all the time. It's just when I'm kind of stressing the systems because of the way the van, about 8,600 pounds. How many tons is that? And the elevation. That's what I'm mostly worried about. And I'm always a slow guy. Many times I want to find a semi that's got his flashers on or her flashers on, right? And I get in front of them and I'm going the same 30 miles an hour. That's not what I like to do. I'm like, oh, thank God there's a semi with his flashers on going up a big hill. That's what I want to get behind. Here, Kyle, you're getting a shout out from Gumbo. Kyle needs to design my father's house because my father's design is just a nope. Yeah, he did a beautiful job. That's just one of the best houses we ever did. Um, Looking for the format. MAF is yes, the corporate job with accompanying meetings, long hours instead of all ringing the bell. Yeah, kind of make a deal, right? And deal with the devil and see if you can get a couple days of home office days and just experiment if you have your camper van. I was really lucky, and I just had a great team that embraced my dream. I was being very effective on the road, and in many ways more effective, which is pretty crazy. Okay, we're gonna go just a few minutes over. I just want to make sure we get some of these in. Um, yeah, Sparks guy. So have you noticed that if you have a night booked on Harvest Host, you can't search the locations available that same night. It's a drag when dealing with a dynamic travel schedule. I have noticed that that's kind of a new feature they put in. I'm not a big fan of it, so I try and get things out a few days. So what I typically like to do is make a reservation for a night or two, and then leave a few nights open. So if I'm booking Harvest Hosts, you can book them in advance side by side, but once you've started the reservation, yeah, I've noticed that too. It is kind of annoying. Give them feedback. Um, Sunshine State RVs. Thank you, Bill and Joe. They're so great. Let's see. Um, there's Mason Mike saying, I remember a whiteboard from one of your earlier videos. Speaking of the old days, do you know what has happened to some van buddies that no longer do the van life? Chad and Paul. Yeah, they've been, last I talked to them, which was when I was in Colorado in June, they've now adopted their third kid. There's been a lot of people dropping out of full time travel in vans in particular. I should make a matrix of it. It's just, I get it. It's not for everybody for sure, and I have no interest in going to Alaska. No interest in going to South America. So their positions might have been very different, very extreme than what I'm doing. There's a lot to see and do in America, and taking the occasional cruise. So I'm just pretty happy, and we got some big goals for the next few years, and then we'll see what happens. But we're very committed this year, very committed to 2025. But yeah, there's a lot of folks that stopped or just done part-time travel, like the Russos. They did 7 years on the road full-time in various RVs, and I my hat's off to them still. And they travel. I think they're actually on a cruise boat right now, but I don't know that. Let's see. Well, that's an interesting idea, Kathy. Put some eucalyptus in your van shower. It's like having a plant, essentially aromatherapy. That's a pregnant idea. Hmm. I do like eucalyptus. That or rosemary. That's good to cook with too, right? Let's see. I think I got a super chat down here. Yes, no, yes. So this is Ranger Horse. Want to get right to that? Ranger Horse. 7-side build with the shower. Don't need the front jump seat. Replacement recommendation for that area. Um, it kind of depends on how you want to roll. One of the things that I would be very hesitant to give up is my full-time table. I could not do what I do in my van without a full-time table. Lagoon tables are very popular. But if you look at the, was it Ridgeline by Airstream? They've kind of copied the Winnebago table I have. It's a permanent table, and I think it slides back and forth, and it has the extension. I would really think through how would you use a table, and use that area for that. I don't remember the exact, but kind of think through your day in the life and night in the life of van travel because it should determine what should be in your floor plan. That dictates what should be in your floor plan. If you're coming to the Super Show, not a lot of adventure vans there except for the big guys. Look for the Adventure Van Expos. They're all across the country this year. We're going to be at quite a few of them. Let me know if anybody else has a suggestion for range horse. Thank you for your jingle, 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 jingle. Wait for my new sound setup. I'm so excited. Ooh, Mason Mike, you're pretty close. I'm going to show that in just a second. Christy wants to know, have you run into people doing TV life due to no longer being able to afford rents? Um, yes, I guess. So I did a video a few months back on what's the cost of van life. Mine's about 3 to 4 grand a month. I am not doing this to save money. I'm doing van travel to take in as much as I can for as long as I can until I don't know the money runs out, I burn out, whatever changes are. But I've really rarely run into people that are doing it, trying to get by on 1,000 or 1,500 bucks a month. It's not the crowd I run with. I do see them sometimes. We met some of them at the Bisbee, Arizona Weird Wild West, which we're going to in April this year. It's just a very different way to roll. They're usually out west, parked on BLM, Bureau of Land Management, Forest Service land, where you can stay for about 2 weeks for $0. I just have no real interest in doing that, so I'm not an expert on that. You run into a few. Um, what I have run into more is people are just in these jalopies. Maybe that's all the money they have, and these just dilapidated rigs. I feel sorry for them on one hand. On the other hand, it's like, geez, certainly if you're, some of the dwellers in like Portland and some of these other places, we did some content about that. I feel sorry for them. I empathize with them, but they're ruining it for a lot of us. And I'm sorry you can't get your life together or don't want to get your life together, but those folks, I don't know. I have a very different thought on that. But you know, somebody just trying to live as frugally as possible. Um, they're doing things very different than me. Thank you for the question. Oh, hey, current. Okay, let me just share with you the where are we at here? This day in history. You ready for this? Let's see if you guess this. Let me zoom in for you. Thanks for going a few minutes long. Most of you are staying. This is great. So, 78 years ago, 1946, the United States Army Corps, Army Signal Corps, successfully conducts Project Diana. How'd they come up with that name? Bouncing radio waves off the moon and receiving the reflected signals. That probably came in really handy in the Mercury and Apollo years, right? 123 years ago, 1901, the first great Texas oil gusher is discovered at Spindletop in Beaumont, Texas. Now, let me know if you've been to Beaumont, Texas. There's my thumb. It's a cool place to go for a lot of reasons. I just love Texas. I can't wait to get back to Texas. They have a downtown is like the that's so funny. Anyway, great place, Beaumont, Texas, and there it goes. 212 years ago, the first steamboat on the Ohio River or the Mississippi arrives in New Orleans. It took 82 days to float downstream after departing Pittsburgh. Oh my gosh. How many trips around the United States could we do in our vans if we never really stopped? We kind of just doing this loop-de-loop all the way down from the north down to Florida in 82 days. That's 2 months. Now that would be a video. I might quit after that. That's a lot of travel. pretty crazy. And our song of the week, thumb up, everybody, appreciate that. This is witnessed by, I gave this away, the Lover Boy. Here's a song. The kid is hot tonight. And yes, I agree with you. I'm looking pretty good considering what we've been doing the last few days. In all seriousness, this is a Canadian rock group. You probably knew that. This was released in 1981. I think I was a sophomore in high school. It hit number 55 on the US charts. It did even worse on the Canadian charts. And there is thinking that this song was inspired by Brian Adams, a fellow Canadian singer that was up and coming at the time. And they kind of saw this guy as inspiration, wrote a song about it. If you haven't hit this up, so they made five or six really great songs, Loverboy. And I got strong memories from my parents throwing parties in the early 80s, and Loverboy was in a concert rotation in vinyl. And I had my driver's license in one of those cases, and I actually had to drive this cat's Gary Pang. I can't believe that name just came to me. In his Scirocco. I was on beer duty driving a pretty loaded adult in his Scirocco. Remember those? Oh my God, they were such great cars. Dear Volkswagen, bring those back. And they were playing Loverboy in heavy rotation tonight. Pretty funny. Can't believe I thought of his name, Gary Pang. Hopefully still alive. Just such a great deal. All right, one last look, and then I've got a special bar to take Kyle to tonight. We've one of our goals when we get on a cruise is to try and visit every bar at least once, and we're about halfway there, I'd say, right? Would you like to see what Kyle's doing right now? I know he's like, oh my God, don't show me. Um, we got some content with him coming up. Oh man, what's up with his hand? It's like this. It all of a sudden deforms. That's so weird. That's the first time ever on live TV. I know Bisbee. I can't wait. Are you going back, Matt? I hope so. I'm going to be posting a couple of events in the next couple of days. I didn't quite finish it today because we were in Haiti. Thank you, Matt. Yes, the Texas Hill Country Banbury should be up on my website tomorrow with all the details. Tomorrow, probably Friday, because I need to make a few phone calls. So anyway, it looks like we've done it for this. So with that, we'll say thank you to everybody watching the live, watching the replay, and it's literally without you, I wouldn't be here, and it's because of you that I am here, and Kyle for that matter. So just thank you for helping us achieve our fantasy plan. It can happen to you. It's happening for many of you, and it's already happened to so many of you. I'm just excited that we're all doing it together. It's so great. So with that, we'll say thank you. Journey on from Haiti, and then we like to say, make sure I get this right. There we go. There we go.